served in the military, and following the military, you became a member of the Bern Police Department. You stayed there and you retired. And you retired actually as the first African-American deputy chief. So considering that background, how did you get involved in ministry? And what was one of your biggest challenges when you first got started?
Well, to begin with, thank you for that introduction. That's priceless. But police work, military service, all of it's public service, which is, I guess, to say that I never had a real job. But I guess in the military, I got the fever, I guess, of the bug of doing something a little extraordinary. So when I was in the Army, I really liked the kind of things that they did with drill and ceremony. So I became a part of the Honor Guard, and we did the parades and the welcomes for the dignitaries and that kind of thing. And I just kind of enjoyed it. After military, I needed a job, so I came to New Bern and got the first thing that was hired, which at that time happened to be the police department. Police department was basically a different kind of animal at that particular time. Police department in 1968, where I started, was segregated. We worked just the black neighborhoods. We weren't allowed to police white people. As a matter of fact, we were isolated into an area what was back in that day was called Area 18, which was all black. If anybody wants to know how racism gets involved in policing, you can figure it out by finding out the fact that most black people account for about 80% of the calls.
Oh.
So the interaction between police and our black community is something that's really, really a high percentage. And if you happen to be black, if you happen to be black and you're policing black people, you begin to think that maybe that's the way things are. But what I found is that once we were allowed to expand into other neighborhoods, that basically everything was the same. White neighborhoods had their same issues. The only difference between the black community and the white community is that we tend to live ours out in the street. They live theirs out in the house. So when the cameras turn on, you're not allowed to go into people's houses. But, we're in the street.
Yeah.
So everybody gets to see what we do. Interesting story. In 1969, the New Bern Police Department was actually integrated for the first time, and that was a process where the Warehousing Corporation was building a housing development, which is now known as Colony Estates. The powers that be decided that they did not want that kind of development. It was an upper middle class development at that time. They didn't want that kind of development in a quote segregated community. They wanted housing that was equal for everybody. So they went to the city fathers and asked the question as to why the police department was not integrated. And their response from the governing board was, that's not going to happen. They then decided that perhaps if you want the place integrated, maybe you need to hire a lawyer and do something about it. So there were 3 black police officers at that time. It was myself, Murphy Wyndham, and James McConnell. So we engaged attorney Reginald Frazier to file a lawsuit on behalf of the 3 black officers. And as a result, of course, when and I guess that's the behind the scenes conferences began, the city decided to capitulate and allow blacks to police the community along with the white officers.
Okay.
The interesting thing is that the first, I guess, year or so, we found that working the rest of the city,
Yes.
a lot easier. A lot easier than working just our community. Over a period of time, we found that the police department became the poster child, if you will, for not just civil rights, but for equal rights. By the time 1982, 83 rolled around, the police department was about 50% black. It was just about equal.
Really?
And there were 2 black captains, and I think 4 sergeants that were black. Great number of leadership.
Yes.
So things had started to change.
Okay.
And as a result, again, you see the problems between the races started to come down as the number of blacks who were policing increased.
Okay.
So, and it didn't have anything to do specifically with this policing black people, but policing in general, because of the fact that I think our training was such that we knew how to get along with people.
Okay.
Which is a little different than what we see in some cities today.